Hello everybody. I am getting everything just finally put together for tonight's live. So bear with me just for a second before we jump into the fun stuff. All right, let's see. Open up. Perfect. Hey, my lines look pretty even today for the most part. We will take that. All right. If you are stopping by, drop a quick comment to say hello. There we go. Hello, Patsy. Hope you're having a good day. It has been y'all, it's just felt like a long month. And it's not even, oh my gosh, it's like the 13th. And it's just, I'm ready for some holiday breaks and some like winter traveling. That is what I am looking forward to. Hello, Audra. Thanks for stopping by. And hello, Emily. Hope you're having a good night. I am so excited too because tonight we're going to be coloring up a brand new stamp set. It was just part of I think it was just part of the October release, if I'm not mistaken. If it wasn't October, it was September. But we are going to be playing around with the Rising Princess stamp set tonight. And I adore this stamp set. I am just super excited that it is part of the Kindred lineup. I think that this character is a lot of fun, and I think that this image is just really, really fun to color up as well. So we're going to spend a little bit of time working with her hair tonight because she does kind of have a little bit of texture going on that I want to make sure to pull some attention to. So that is going to take a little bit of time, but that is a-okay. We have time tonight. So let's get into a little bit of coloring. Like I said, if you are stopping by, drop a quick comment just to say hello. And let me see. There we go. For whatever reason, my screen was not refreshing with chat. So, all right. So we're going to go in. Let's start with a little bit of coloring. I'm trying to zoom in a little bit. There we go. And we're going to go in with some E04. And let's go over the crash course of just in coloring. Just if you're new here, this is how I color. My first thing that I do is that I always color from dark to light. And I color from dark to light because for me, I just like the process and I feel like it allows me to get a good blend. The second thing that I do is I color twice. My method of what I call coloring twice is I literally color up every portion of the image twice. Now, there are some loopholes to coloring twice. It doesn't apply to every single component of my image. Lighter colors sometimes only get colored once, and then hair is a little bit of a different process for me as well, because I normally do twice from dark to light, like dark to light, and then second time dark to light. Hair goes dark to light, and then it goes light to dark. I'll explain a little bit more when we get to it. Hello, Gwen. Hope you're having a good day. All right. And we got to do around her nose. Now, I'm going to put off to the side. I might not start early. I'm not going to make you guys stay around too long for it. We have a special promo code for tonight's live. And we're going to be offering 20% off the Rising Princess stamp set using promo code HOT2STAMP. So it's a $7.99 stamp set. And like I said, you do get 20% off. I will also be using a paper pack later on during the live. That is also going to be included as part of the 20% off promo. That I am going to make you guys wait for. So I will show you I just got some of my E04 on the dress. That's okay. But I will show you guys a little bit more about that color or the paper that we're using in a little bit. So, all right, I've got my E04 all laid out. And I'll probably move the promo code, just keep it off to the side. It might disappear at one point, but I'll revisit it later. So if you don't catch it, don't worry, I'll go over it before I end the live. We're going to go in with some E11 and get that all blended out. Now I am going to color up her skin pretty normal, like usual Caucasian blend. The only thing with her, and I'm just going to color it my own way, is if I was going to be true to character, her face is pretty white. I think she has like a white powder on it. And it's like a pretty white color, but I didn't want her to look like a clown. So that's just for me. She does not look like a clown in real life. I just was afraid with my coloring that I was going to maybe make her look a little too cartoony. And that was not what I wanted to go for. So we're just going to color her up with my standard Caucasian blend, which is E04 and then E11 like we're doing right now. We're going to go in with some E21 next. And then after E21, we're going to do E00 and E000. Sorry. And if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments. I, of course, will be more than happy to stop by and answer them. If I don't answer your questions right away, please, I always say don't take offense to it. Video issues, restart 3 times. Anyone else having issues? I'm watching it on my iPad, Patsy. I haven't had any issues with me watching the replay, but I'm sorry that you're experiencing them. So yeah, if anyone's having an issue, drop a comment, let me know. I'm hopeful I don't have to restart. Doesn't sound terrible what I'm basically saying, Patsy. Like, worst case scenario is that it's happening with everybody. Hello, Carrie. Hope you're having a good evening. Thanks for stopping by. So going in with my E21. Just kind of blending out this a little bit. I think with her leg, I might just color that up once. Just because it's a very narrow spot. And I don't want to make it too dark on accident. So we're just going to go ahead accordingly. Let's go in with some E00 next. Ooh, my E00 is making a little light squeaking noise. It must have just started. I've been coloring up some new to be shared projects with y'all this week. And I used a lot of this marker. So I'm sure it could use a little bit of a refill. I believe my E00 and my E000 are my most refilled markers. And I think I've even replaced my nibs on them a couple times as well. It's because I use them the most. All right, now we're going to go in with E000. All right, just kind of blend that a little bit. I was also hoping that if I don't go too far in with the color, it'll keep her face on a little bit more of the pale side, which is going to keep her a little bit more true to color. It's not going to be that sort of white powdery look that I mentioned that would be the most true to character. But I thought, you know what, maybe, just maybe, it's enough. All right, let's go back in with some E04. Just kind of going down her hairline. And down the side, just like that, and the sides of my nose. I'm very excited. So, like, of course, she's a pop star of sorts, and I haven't been to a concert in a hot minute, but if you tuned into my last Facebook Live, I spilled the beans that I am jetting off next week to Vegas to see Adele's final concert of her residency. It was not designed this way originally. This was not the show we were supposed to see. We were supposed to see her the Saturday of Easter weekend, and she got ill. Or rather, she got sick that she couldn't sing the same, and she had to reschedule a bunch of shows. And our show was literally of the ones she had to reschedule, the very last one. So she had still completed a portion of her residency in Vegas. And then over the summer, she was in, I believe it was Munich. She had a long-term concert event there that she had sold out a stadium for a handful of nights. And then she was returning to Vegas to finish up her shows. So because we were like the last show that got, that she had to cancel, we're going to be like the last show of her entire residency now that it's gotten moved. I'm very excited. I've seen a lot of clips. Carrie's seen her. I'm sure she's absolutely incredible. She Her CDs are beautiful, and the music, when you just listen to them on the radio, I can only imagine she is equally as talented, if not more, in person. She is just someone that strikes me that way. So I'm very, very excited to see her. Hello, Heather. But I'm also like, I don't love traveling close to the holidays. I kind of like to stay home. So those of us in the U.S., Thanksgiving is coming up. And like, I'm going to have to take time off not related to the holiday to go on to Vegas, which I'm not complaining. By all means, I'm not trying to sit here being like humble bragging. It's just I usually like to separate vacation time and holiday time as best as possible. But that's okay. I will take the short reprieve. We are only gone for 2 nights, which will be enough. And then we'll be back ready to eat lots of turkey. All right. Let's go in with a little bit of blush before we finish her out. I'm going to be a little heavy on the blush with her because this image, she is wearing a lot of makeup. So I'm going in kind of heavy with the R22. A lot heavier than I normally do. All right. And I'll blend it out. It's very, very dark right now. But of course, we'll go in with a little bit of R20, which is blush color, just to blend it out a bit, bring that color more into her cheeks. I really just want her to have like heavy sort of blush going on. More so than just like a rosy cheeks, but like to look like she went in and applied makeup. Because she did. Right. Just like that. And then let's blend this out with E000. Hello, Catherine. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah. Nice and stark red cheeks. I like that a lot. All right. I'm sorry, my nose has just gotten a little sniffly. Not in like an alarming way to me, just like, I don't know, maybe my room's just a little dry or something. All right, just like that. Perfect. Let's go in. Let's do her lips. Oh, let's see. I want her to have red lips. I didn't grab one marker for it. Lips always kind of make me nervous to color because a lot of times lips are red and lips are also very narrow spots. And I don't want to color outside the lines. I never want to, but reds are like the least forgiving alcohol marker color. So if I color my reds and they go just a little outside the line, then it looks like she's got messy makeup. You know what though, in this instance, that's not the end of the world because she does kind of have messy makeup. So that's okay. But I think I'm just going to color up her lips once. We went with R37, then R35, and now we're doing R32. They're all ready to go. We'll call it ready to go if you catch my drift. Let's go in. We'll do a little bit with her teeth. I know that like teeth are white, so you could just leave the inside of her mouth white if you wanted, but I like to add just a little bit of shading. So we're going in with some C3, and I feel like it just kind of accentuates the curvature of her mouth, and it gives you like that little bit of an added 3D effect. We're going for the shading, you know, might as well do it. And we're good with some C00. So we did C3, C1, and C00. All right, now let's go in. Let's work on her hair. And I do suspect this being the most challenging part of this image, and that's okay. And what we're gonna do is I kind of want to work with all of the curves. So every time the hair kind of has a little bit of a wave to it and changes direction, I'm gonna like go in and add a little bit of a wave, like a part of sorts, just to kind of help the hair have a lot of highlights and shadows. So just kind of going in, just like that. I'm just kind of accentuating each of the curves. Let's go in. And then, let's see. Going like that. So everywhere there's a little bit of a wave, I'm going in and I'm almost making like a part. So I'm just kind of going in with my R89. She's going to have red hair. And just kind of playing around with the parts. Parts as in like her hair parting, not like sections. And then that's why it's just going to take a little bit of time, but we're going to make it look really pretty. It's just a little detailed, but I really think that the key takeaway from this project is going to be her hair being like the star of the show. And of course she's wearing a tiara to just like help make her hair even more special. So we're just gonna kind of keep going in. I'm just kind of mapping everything out. Now being transparent, I'm not really watching my comments too much, but that's okay. That just means I'm gonna go in shortly and answer questions, but I do wanna lay down this color first. In. And then just like that. And then let's go in. Just kind of add some over here. Just to kind of accentuate the highlights and the curves. Now her hair does kind of have a part there. Kind of like imagine where it would be separated. Just like that. All right. That's pretty good. And let's go in. Now I am going to kind of go around her tiara because I want her tiara to kind of be colored in. And I don't want it to just blend into the hair. So I'm going to kind of go around the tiara. And then, let's see. Just kind of keep going with these parts. Like I said, parts in terms of where hair separates, not parts in terms of like, oh, this segment, that segment. All right, going in. At least I feel correct in telling y'all, I'm like, listen, her hair is going to take some time tonight. It's okay. So we're just going to go in. Wonderful. Okay. So you can see how her hair is starting to sort of take shape. Carrie needs a crown. There you go. We all need a little bit of a crown, right? All right, let's go in next. I'm going to go in. I picked R59. Let me double check. I think that'll work. We'll do R59 and kind of extend those colors out. Usually the first color, in my opinion, is the hardest to lay down. And then after that, everything kind of begins to fall into place. At least when it comes to alcohol markers and hair. All right. And just kind of keep on light texture strokes upwards. I remember talking about crowns. I remember one time I had done like a murder mystery party, and I think I was supposed to be like a prince. And I'm like, ooh, I want to get like a cool like prince crown. Like prince as in like royalty, not as in any sort of like pop superstar. Not that I have an issue with that, but I'm just trying to set the scene. And I had gone on Amazon and I had found, like, I don't know if it was a gender neutral crown or if it was specifically designed for men. And I was like, ooh, like, this is what I want. It was just really cool. It was like much more metal. Of course, not really any jewels. I'm like, I bet you this is going to be perfect. I got it in the mail. It was not perfect. It got returned. It was like those images where they say like what you like found online, what it looks like when you get it. And it was like, unfortunately. Just kind of going in, talking through all this hair detail. All right. Perfect. Next, let's go in. Let's see, do I want to do R37 next? Yeah, that lightens it up. So we're going to do just a little R37, not too much. Just to kind of begin to lighten this all up. This one might be a little on the trickier side to color up a second time, but we will do it. Oh, thank you so much, Carrie. I'm trying, and I know that my hand is kind of protecting the paper, so it's not that easy to see all of the detail, but I'm trying my best, please know. Us that do Facebook Lives, it's like not only do we want to make sure that we're providing like a fun concept, but we also want to make sure that like it's entertaining, but we also want to make sure that like what we're working on is nicely in view. So it's like we're trying to make sure to hit an educational component, an entertainment component, and then also just like an all around like functionality component, amongst other things too. A lot goes into this. Not that, like I said, not humble bragging at all. I'm just letting y'all know the thoughts that cross through my head. So sometimes when I get a little quiet during a Facebook Live, it's not because necessarily I have nothing to say, but more so it's like, oh, like, is this in view? Like, oh, like, am I making sure to, like, color this correctly and talk appropriately? So just the inner workings, the behind the scenes, if you will. All right, we're going to go in with some R35. Just kind of start to add that in. And you're going to really start to see those highlights start to pop. Hair is one of those things that when you color it with alcohol markers, I think it looks kind of not so pretty in the beginning, but it's one of those trust the process sort of moments where it's like you're going to think it's not going to look right, but stick with it, and when you get to the end result, you're going to be a lot more happier than you think you would be in the beginning. So we're just going in. Now, I also think if I was being true to character, her hair may be a little bit more on the ginger auburn side of things, where I feel like I've kind of colored her up, maybe more of like mermaid red hair, which is okay. That's my choice. Like, you kind of got to just go with your vision and stick with it. And hello, Teresa. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. The flicking or texture strokes, whatever you want to call it. I've heard some people before that are like, don't call it flicking. You're not flicking. And I'm like, but you kind of are. I'm like, and to me, it's like the flicking motion of just like a flick, 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 or like texture, texture, texture. It's like my way of making sure that those really light movements are able to like really allow you to capture those blends, but also capture the texture, which is me saying two totally opposite things at once, because you do want the colors to blend into each other, but also when you're doing something like hair, you want to make sure that those textures are coming out, because that's what's going to make your hair look like hair. Christian also says a flick master. There we go. Hello, Christian. Thank you for stopping by. Christian is always like one of my Facebook Live MVPs. I always, and not that I'm giving any pressure to you, Christian, if you've had a long day and you're literally just like kicked up on the couch watching this on your phone and have no desire to do anything, I say do it. And just, what I was going to say is Christian is always a rock star, and she surprises me that usually about 20 minutes after a live is over, before I've even shared a thing about it. Christian is sharing a recreation of the card that we went over, and I'm just like, you are an absolute rock star. So Christian, just know I appreciate you. All right, we're gonna go in reverse now. Let's talk for a second about why I'm going in reverse when I talked about coloring twice. Hair, I like to capture that texture. And when you color from dark to light, I find that you really you get a good blend going, but blends don't really allow you to get those texture moments. So to get those texture moments, I like to color in reverse, going from light to dark on the second round with hair, because ending on a dark note means that the dark color is going to not really be pushed and blended into anything. So that's why I do my second round of coloring hair light to dark. And hopefully this doesn't take us too much time, but oh, I love this hair. Love, love, love. Trying to capture all of those curls and all. I love it. I think that this character, as a person, she's just such a unique individual. And I'm very rarely so enamored with somebody who comes very new onto the scene, initially appeals to a much younger demographic. It has been such a long time that I feel like I have gotten excited by someone who is younger, say a chunk younger, or initially appeals to a different younger generation. And she is just one person that really checked the boxes. So I think she's super exciting. I think she's got a lot of versatility. I think she is someone that if we let her cook in her crock pot for a good chunk of time, I think that she could be around for a while. But then again, I could be wrong. I'm no agent. What Christian says, she's in her fluffy robe on her couch, your brain is fried, thought I could learn, watch it live. And I just abbreviated because it said the see more button. Watching tonight, there we go. Well, I am glad you're here and you enjoy that robe, Christian, because, listen, we all deserve fluffy robe moments. We all deserve when we go to work or work at home or, listen, okay, let's talk for a second. I am currently in the process of reviewing job applicants for a position at work. And, of course, can't go into super, super detail. But I have had some applicants that have had on their resume that there's been a gap and they fill it with that they've been a stay-at-home parent. And I'm here to say, y'all, there ain't no denying that being a stay-at-home parent and taking care of a household is absolutely a job. And even if you haven't gone to an office day, if you got the kids off to school and you just finished cleaning up dishes or whatever, or maybe you've done all of it. Maybe you did go to work and you came home and you cooked the family a meal. Y'all are my heroes. Y'all, that is always incredible. All right, so let's go in. Next, let's do a little bit. That was R59. We're going to finish off with some R89. This is our last color. And I'm just going to do some of those texture strokes. This one I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to since this is the last one. Absolutely, Teresa. It is. And it's, gosh. Listen, okay. I don't know how much y'all order groceries. I don't know if you're a weekly family. Me and my husband have it narrowed down that we kind of do groceries every 2 weeks or so. Oh my gosh, we have a whole plan because when we first moved in with each other, we weren't married and we were trying our best to be responsible and split expenses amongst each other so it wasn't one person's responsibility. So we came up with this way to do our groceries. And we've always done that, we buy groceries for 10 dinner recipes at a time, and then, of course, whatever else we might need. So we still have stuck with that matter. We buy 10 dinner recipes at a time, and that's our grocery shopping. It usually is about every 2 weeks because we'll go out to eat and whatnot. Doing a grocery order, just ordering it online, writing the list, ordering it online is a 1.5 to 2 hour long ordeal. That takes a lot of time. That doesn't even include, a handful of years ago, you couldn't even order your groceries to be picked up in store. You had to go in and pick everything. That's what we used to do. And it's and that took even more time because you still kind of had to write the list in advance and then you had to go walk a whole store and you couldn't just search for it in a search engine on a grocery website. And I'm sure a lot of you still do it that way. So it's just, that takes time. Everything takes time, y'all. So those of you who stay at home, like I said, I commend you and y'all are my heroes. So, and take care of your families. So, all right, N3, we're going to go and we're going to color her crown. And I'm just gonna make her crown kind of simple. She has a silver crown. And we're gonna go in with N1. Is that what we're doing, is 2 colors? Yeah, I guess so, that's okay. I don't like to color my metals with a lot, especially when they're lighter metals, so. All right. Let's do that once again. And 3. And 1. All right, so we've got her tiara. Now let's focus on her dress. Let's do, do we want, no, I'm not gonna do eye makeup on her. Her eyes are not that prominent. Sorry, water break. Okay, let's do, I wanna do her sash last, so let's color up the rest of her dress. So we're gonna do some BG05, and then we're gonna go, let's see, under the sash. Like this. She's got some textures going on with her dress, so I'm just trying to accentuate those and bring the appropriate attention under her hand. And then I am going to, I think for the bottom part, so when I was trying to find reference photos, it was hard for me to find a lot about the bottom portion of this gown. So I'm gonna assume that the bottom portion is like a tulle, and we're gonna do like a gradient tulle that gets a little lighter the closer you get to the bottom. So just do it like that. So do around the leg just to help with the shadow. But yeah, there we go. All right. So, Carrie, I can't talk about names, but, so if you, like, let's say with the promo code, if you change stamp to go and you Googled that, you would find out who she is. We'll leave it at that. Of course, we can't talk about the fandoms. Well, we keep them vague. We come up with our own names for them. You know what's always fun is whenever I do a blog, and also I'm coloring this with the BG families of marker. I did BG05 and now I'm doing BG02. Whenever I come up with a blog post after a release, I always have to come up with my own names for the characters. And I'm always like, I'm trying to think of what I did recently. Like Green Witch and Pink Witch or Good Witch or Green, I don't want to call her Evil Witch, but just, you get what I'm saying, where it's like, I've got to come up with like creative ways of like, very general ways of saying who I'm talking about so you can easily identify them. However, like, it's not the name. So, y'all get it. All right, BG01. I am a chatty Cathy tonight, and that is A-okay. I always thought that our lives go a little bit better when I'm in like a super chatty mood, but let's be honest, it's hard to always be in like a really chatty mood. All right, we're gonna do BG000. And I didn't know if I wanted to do BG zeros or if I wanted to do BG ones, because there is a little bit of like a mint feel to her garment, and she actually has a lot of embellishments on them, and we're gonna add a little bit. Oh, Carrie, you're so sweet. I hope that you had a good time, and I'm glad that you got home safely. I'm also pretty certain I've had elk before. Okay, so elk story. I'm going to go back and I'm going to color my images, the dress twice. We're going to go back in with BG05. So one of like the Hallmark vacations that I ever did with my husband, we went to the museum and we found, Teresa, if you've got to pop out, thank you for stopping by. I'm so glad. Of course, catch the replay. And if you've got any questions, just let me know. But we went to a local museum and they've got like an IMAX theater, and the theme of the movie that was playing was national parks. And we were just so enamored by the video and by what we saw, and we're like, we've never really done anything related to national parks. And I'm like, let's do it. So we decided, we sat down on the computer one night and we mapped out a week-long vacation. And mind you, we are not hikers, so this was not like an active vacation. This is much more like sightseeing from the comfort of like my adjustable seat in my car. And we mapped out a week-long vacation leaving from the Chicago area, driving all the way out west to Yellowstone National Park and home, and like what sights we could see along the way. And so we had done like, it was basically Chicago through Rochester, Minnesota to Rapid City, South Dakota. We went up to Cody, Wyoming, down to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and we decided to go to Estes Park, which is in Colorado, to see the Rocky Mountain National Park. And we had heard good things about Estes Park, but really didn't know that much about it. And we got to this hotel in Estes Park, and I'm not even kidding. There was like a golf course like behind it, or just a field. It might have not even been a golf course, because it was not a fancy hotel. It was like a lodge of sorts, like a roadside lodge. And there was a field, and it was like there had to have been 50 or 75 elk like within like 50 feet of us, like all just out like by this fence, just kind of like doing their thing. I don't know if any of them had horns, but I remember explicitly that night that we had drove over to a very close by restaurant. It was a Mexican restaurant, and in the parking lot but there was a dumpster, and by the dumpster was like the biggest elk I had ever seen with like a full rack of horns. And I was just flabbergasted. Especially like we are not the type of people to like put ourselves in situations that we want to be that close and dangerously close to the animals. But just in that moment, I was like, oh my God, like I'm just like living my life, not even making an effort to like see nature. And like, here I am like too close for comfort with it. So very interesting. And I'm realizing I never colored up her shoe, but you know what? We're going to go back. We're going to do her shoes the same color as her crown. She's going to have silver shoes. I was going to do them blue originally, but we'll do them silver. All right, so that's N3 and then N1. But still to this day, we talk about that, all the trips that we've done in our 11 plus years together, that, and I know for some people, 11 plus years, y'all got 2, 3, 4 times the amount of years that I do. But of the trips that we have done, that I still think to its day that like when you look at all of the elements is our favorite. So let me just make sure I'm not missing something. Sorry, I've just got a quick message making sure everything is okay on my end. I think it is. All right, going back to the Facebook Live. Sorry about the departure. All right, so, all right, let's go in. We're going to color up her sash. All right, let's go. All right, I just saw the message that I had missed. It is not an alarming situation, and we are good. Okay, so that was C3. Let's do C1. Oh, I'm sure Jackson Hole does. We had gone, it was late October, so not that far from now, but we really didn't see that much, Carrie. Honestly, it was surprising. We had thought that we would see more wildlife in Wyoming than we did. Now, don't get me wrong, we saw a whole herd of bison at Yellowstone. We actually then, you don't really see like foxes very much in the wild by us. And there was a fox just like on the ledge, or like the side of the road, just kind of playfully pouncing. Hopefully not onto like a dead animal that it had hunted, but then again, that would be nature, circle of life moment. But just really a fantastic all-around vacation, and I always recommend to anybody who's looking for something to do for a trip, something different, map out a road trip like that, because we were, in the moment that we did it, money was not really something we were looking to spend, and we had tried to make it as affordable as we possibly could, and we did such a good job with it. I remember like some of the hotels, not necessarily places that, none of them were unsafe, just not necessarily places like in the future we would like go out of our way to revisit, but they did the job of what we needed. All of the hotels we booked had free breakfast in the morning. I remember like 1 or 2 days for lunch, because we didn't know if we were going to be able to find a restaurant, we like pulled over and we picked up like a Lunchable. And it's just little things like that, and I love that. I love that memory. Just a really nice trip. So, Carrie, thank you for letting me walk down memory lane with your activities, talking about elks and putting in perspective memories I have of elk. So, all right, we're going in with some BG07, and I just kind of want to add a couple spots, because she's got a sequin garment, or there's embellishment on the garment that I want to make a little bit more noticeable. So now we're going to go with some BG05. And also by me talking about like the places that we stayed at, I mean, no disrespect. We all vacation however we can. I think a vacation is a vacation. Whatever sort of lodging you can come up with, by all means. I'm just darn happy you were able to get away from home and see something new. You know, that's what we got to do. All right, I'm going to go in with a Jelly Roll pen and just add a couple white dots just to make it look like she's got shimmering sequins on her dress. Just like that. Okay. And perfect. Let's go in. Just kind of clean things up a little bit. Perfect. And she's all colored. So I am going to put this a little bit closer. Oh, and it's totally off camera. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Boneheaded moment over here. I apologize for that. But I think the hair turned out really good for her. It captures that she's got like sort of wavy curly hair going on. I am also looking at the clock and seeing that it is 6:40. So this definitely took some extra time tonight. So I apologize for that. Let's get into some fussy cutting. And then luckily the rest of the card, I think I could get it all done in the next 20, 30 minutes. Also, can I talk for a second? I had these sent to me. I have the gray Spellbinders detail scissors, and I was just sent the blue ones. I was in a magazine and they had sent like a thank you package. And these were in them and I was so excited because I love this color. So, all right, let's go in, and it matches her dress perfectly. Actually, these Spellbinder scissors, I got them originally. Jen Pargros had recommended them to me, and when I had gotten them back in 2019, they were green, like a lime green color, and I love these scissors. These are my go-to scissors. They have been my go-to scissors for the past 5 years. However, I unfortunately made a mistake with my old green pair, and I used them to cut. I was like in a pinch and I needed to separate some die cuts that were attached with like their metal tabs. I'm like, oh, I'll just use these. I'll snip them apart real easily. And it did snip them apart, but what it ended up doing was damaging my blade. And I was very upset. And now like I still have them and I use them to cut apart like foam tape because I refuse to throw them away because I can still use them for little things like that. But I bought a new pair. My new pair was gray because that was the color that was out at the moment. And oh, I love these scissors. I've been using them since I got them. The gray got set aside. They're so wonderful. And actually, Christian, I just recently invested in the nonstick larger size shears, which are part of this collection, still with the gray handle. They're right next to me at the moment in case I need them for later on in the live. And they are such like a strong yet comfortable pair of scissors. I love them. They're a little on the clunky side, but the last thing it does is bother me. I adore them. So, but I love this light blue color. Might have to go in and add just a wee little bit of color to part of her hair, and that's okay. All right, let's go in. All right, push this off to the side. Now, I've got her all colored up. Thank you so much for stopping by, Carrie. And your words were so kind, and thanks for talking with us tonight. I hope you have a great time, whatever you're up to. All right, let's see. They cut like butter. They're so wonderful, Christian. Oh, I will always recommend these scissors to anyone looking for a good detail pair. And you know what? Those scissors, I love them so much that they've actually deterred me from using my scanning cut, because I enjoy cutting with them so much that I have like enjoyed to fussy cut more. Now don't get me wrong, sometimes I still look at my scanning cut, especially if I've colored up like a bunch of images and I'm trying to get my hand to break. But if I'm just doing like a one image sort of situation, always happy with it. Okay, next I am pulling in, I have die cut a piece of paper from the dolled up paper pack. This is also included in our Hot to Stamp promo tonight, 20% off this paper pack. It worked so perfectly. Who knows, maybe she's in a certain like colored horse club of sorts of like maybe not red, maybe not white, the color in between. But I have gone ahead and I have die cut out this sort of rhinestone disco ball pattern. It's the lighter pattern, the darker pattern is on the back, and this is gonna serve as the background of our card tonight. So we're gonna get everything ready for this. What I've decided to do is I've gone ahead and die cut out just a square background. This is using the Card Basic stamp set. I am going to move the promo code off to the side for now, and we are going to go ahead and ink blend this. And I'm going to go in with some Festive Berries first. And this is just a colored pink cardstock, and I'm going to blend this. And I want it to be, of course, a nice blend, not too stark or anything. I actually just recently did a coloring or an ink blending video for scrapbook.com. So I'm trying to pull in some of the different tips and techniques that I had pulled in during that video. So now we're going to do some picked raspberry, and I'm going to use that as a second color. Just kind of blend it together. Also, like, all right, I have to talk about something that's not very pleasant. Sometimes I get really excited when I'm crafting, especially doing a Facebook Live, and I'll accidentally spit on what I'm ink blending. And then because I'm using inks that are water reactive, I will then have spots on my paper because I accidentally spit while talking. So there is a little spit mark right there, and I do apologize. Like I said, not very pleasant, but just matter of fact. All right, so we're going in, blending that out, and we've got a really nice sort of blend going. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to use the Stage Craft Eyes, and we're going to color up just like a little stage image. And I think we're gonna go from light to dark. No, I think we're gonna go from dark to light. We're gonna do that. Okay, so free texture, there you go. I do wish that they made the blade in a spring-loaded version for my arthritic kits. That would be helpful. I've tried some spring-loaded scissors before, Christian. Like, I've got, I think these are these spring-loaded? Yes. Like, I've got these from scrapbook.com, and like, blades are fine. No issues at all, but like, I just can't get used to the way they move. But for someone that needs them, absolutely. All right, so let's go in. I'm gonna move my blending tools off to the side. I'm going to grab my Kindred craft towel, and then we are going to just sort of, oh, and I just realized I didn't grab embossing powder, so I'm gonna have to get that shortly. My bad. That's okay. We'll get it in a minute. Actually, let's splatter this. So I'm gonna grab, what am I gonna grab? Let's grab maybe some opaque silver paper splatter. I think that would be really pretty. And then I do need to get myself a watercolor brush. So we're gonna go ahead. I've got some opaque silver paper splatter. This is by Picket Fence Studios. I have used a lot of this lately. It's one of my go-tos because I love what it does with my projects. There are a lot of different colors available. The truth is, I use the metallic ones and the white one the most, but if you like having colors, by all means. All right, so we're going in with this opaque silver, watered it down. See, and Christian, it's gonna cover up my spit mark. All right, so there you go. So we're just gonna kind of splatter. Just like that. And then I'm gonna set it to the side to dry. If it's not dry by the time that I need it, I'll hit it with a heat gun. All right, so let's excess wiped off. And then I'm gonna clean this real quick. Just like that. Okay, perfect. Now let's go in, I'm gonna ink blend the bits and bobs of my curtains, and I decided to do them in Salty Ocean. So I'm gonna grab my Salty Ocean Distress Oxide ink and just sort of distress the edges, just like this. So it gives them like a nice little shading and pop, just like this. And then we'll do some paper splatter in a little bit too. So I'm just gonna kind of go in and just dress the edges just like this. And then then we've got that. And then I've got just kind of the over banner. And this one we're just gonna do on top, just like this. And then we're gonna bring in a little bit more color, just to kind of add that shading. All right, see, I get quiet sometimes because I'm focusing on the techniques, but we're almost there. And then sometimes where I place my fingers, it restricts me from where I can blend stuff. So, all right, we're gonna smush a little bit of our salty ocean down. We're gonna move my blending tool off the pattern. And then I'm gonna take my 3 bits. I'm going to use some water and I'm going to just spray a little bit. And then we're gonna pick up some of that salty ocean and we're gonna splatter. Now, things to keep in mind when you're splattering. If you are working on components of your project that you really don't want to be the color that you are paper splattering, even if they are not super close by, do something to cover them, because this splattering, it travels. And like the last thing you want to do is you just colored up your pop star princess and all of a sudden she's got 3 blue freckles on her left cheek because you didn't cover up where you splattered, and you're not going to know how to correct it. So that's my little word of advice, is if you're going to splatter, take into account what other sort of elements you've got that you don't want splattered and cover them accordingly. All right, so we're just going to kind of clean this off. Let's go in. Let's do a little bit more. I probably shouldn't have cleaned off my paper, but we're going to do a little bit more of our opaque silver paper splatter. And I'm just going to put a little bit of water and just splattering them. And when you splatter like this, it also helps to cover up any sort of imperfections you may have had. So like if you maybe had a couple more stark lines with your ink blending, do this, it'll make it nice and pretty. And they'll never know. All right, so, all right, those have to dry. So I'm gonna put those off to the side to dry. So, okay, talking about it, here's our promo code, and I have freckles all over it from silver and blue, but our promo code is still hot to stamp if you wanna take advantage of the 20% off of the all dolled up paper pack and also the Rising Princess stamp set. So, like I said, cover your things. So, okay, so let's see what we're doing now. So what I'm doing next is I want these all to dry. I've gotta clean up my working space. While that's drying, I could probably work on my sentiment, but I do need to grab my mini Misty. So let's see. Oh, that's not a mini one, but that'll work. Oh, there it is. There's my mini Misty. All right. I've got my trusty dusty mini Misty, and I also need to get my embossing tool and my Kindred Stamp Snowfall embossing powder. There we go. All right, so I do have some red paper that I'm going to use, and this is where we're going to put our sentiment. So I'm just going to kind of secure it down, and let's do a sentiment that says, what were we going to do? You want to do another year older, good luck. So we're going to put this down. And then we're going to use a die cut in a minute to cut it out. So I'm going to press it down. Okay, and then we're gonna grab, I've got a blending, an embossing tool from Tailored Expressions. And then I'm gonna grab my Kindred Stamps embossing ink pad. Okay, I think we got enough on there. Let me grab a piece of scrap paper just to catch the embossing powder when we get to it. We're gonna use Snowfall embossing powder. And I'm gonna go ahead and pour it on top. Let's see. Oh, you're older, good luck. Love it. And then we can heat emboss. I can take my stamp set, or my stamp that's on my Misty from the stamp set, put it off to the side, and let's use my heat gun. I'm gonna do it from the back. Oh, you need your new embossing powder, definitely. I use the embossing powder so much, Christian, and sometimes I make such a mess with it. I have definitely dumped it on my desk. I don't know if I've ever dumped it on the floor though, but it's just gotta be like, it's just gonna get everywhere. And like, you're probably gonna find embossing powder for a very long time, unfortunately. I'm missing the little dot for the exclamation point, but don't worry, I know how to fix that. All right. So we've got our sentiment. I'm gonna take the dry side of my microfiber towel for the Kindred Craft towel. I'm just gonna kind of clean it off. A very silver nail right now too. Must have gotten that opaque silver on it. And then I am gonna take, I've got some large sentiment banners that I'm gonna go ahead and just sort of figure out to size where this is gonna fit. I think it's gonna be this one. Let's put this off to the side for a moment. Make sure that this is appropriate. Yes, this is appropriate. I thought it might be a little too narrow, but it'll be a-okay. So let's go ahead, get this into position. Kind of fix, no, I think we're okay. All right, so we're gonna tack this down just like that. I have my little Spellbinder Scout die cutting machine. It's cute, it's tiny, I love it. And we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of die cutting. I think this is the correct sandwich width. This is in rose quartz. It's only available on scrapbook.com, but I think it's super cute. All right, and we do have our sentiment all perfectly ready to go. Perfect. Such a cute little machine. Okay, so I think we're in the assembly stage for our project, which is great. And I do, oh no, did I misplace my camera? Huh, that's not good. I might have to use a different tool for my adhesive tonight. Phooey. Nope, we're good. I think we're good to go. Good. All right, I misplaced my cap and I was afraid that I was gonna have to unclog this, but we are good. All right, right, so I am going to begin the process of adhering my different bits together. So we are going to take the right side of our curtains, put a little bit of liquid adhesive using my Misty Precision Glue Press. The gremlins took it. I'm sure they did. It's honestly probably on the floor somewhere, because it's just like anything that's round just ends up on the floor in my craft space. All right, so we're gonna press this down. Let's just use my block. I love these colors. Oh, this turned out real pretty. All right, fingers are face planted into the glue. That's okay. Thank you so much, Carrie. I was really happy with the color combination. I actually thought about like talking in advance about like, okay, this is the color palette I selected for this card, but like, I love these three colors, but realistically, what I also want to pay attention to is that I'm also pulling in the colors from the label of the white and the black. So you get all the different layers of it. And a little bit of gray, I think they work really nicely together. It also like, I love that this card has so much pink and blue in it, and it doesn't even toe the line of like a gender reveal sort of card or a baby card. Because I feel like light blues and light pinks so often have those connotations, just like how I'm always worried about using red and green together in a card because I don't want it to look like a Christmas card. So I always love when I'm able to get away with using a color combination that's pretty traditional for a specific matter and use it for something entirely else. So just my thought process. So I'm just going to kind of make sure that is nice and adhered. Next, I'm going to take my Monster Spellbinder scissors and just trim off the excess. Just like that, just to kind of create a nice little stage. And then I'm also going to adhere this. I wanted to mat it with some blue. Oh no, that moved. Don't move on me. This might need a little bit more pressure. But I wanted to mat this on a piece of blue paper just so it had a little bit of pop. But I'm almost wondering if I don't need that now. Do I need that? I mean, I could kind of offset it. That would be kind of pretty. Oh, I like that. Okay, maybe we're going to do it like that, where it's going to be just kind of like slightly tilted and put on the card. Yes, that's what we'll do. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on this. And then we're going to, like I said, slightly offset it so it gives like a faux frame effect. It does kind of frame it still, you know? Oh, maybe I got something from Amazon coming. That would be nice. I don't think I ordered anything though. Just not recently. Tried to place a Funko order earlier today, but the website was not being my friend, so I just abandoned all hope and figured I'll try again later. I hope my husband's not watching this live because he doesn't know about that. All right, let's go in and we'll adhere this to our card. Oop. I'm gonna grab it from like the centers. I agree, it is pretty vibrant. I like it. And I think it works really well with the pattern paper. All right, so I do want to make sure that it looks pretty level. I don't have a T-ruler, but I think that's pretty good. Do I need a T-ruler before it sets? Maybe I do. Oh, well, how lucky, I have one right out. All right, so let's just utilize this ruler. It needs to be a little shuffled down. Let's see, does that work? All right, I think that's pretty good. Okay, See, it gives the illusion that it's tilted, but I don't think that it is. Make sure. Now I'm going to be paranoid. No, that's pretty good. Okay. So we're gonna take our little princess, we're gonna put her like there, and then we're gonna take our sentiment, and I think we're gonna do it. Like across. How are we gonna do it? Do we do it down there? No. So we're gonna put her over there. We're gonna put our sentiment in the center, like over here. And then I'm gonna use some foam tape. All right, so let's see. I've got some foam strips to use. Put it on the back of here. Just like that. Do some foam tape on the back of her. She's gonna go over there. And all right, let's put her on first. All right, it's 7:06. I said I could do this in 30 minutes, and it was just past 6:40. I think I'm doing pretty good. I still might go slightly beyond 7:10. Oh, I'm also in Central Time Zone, so keep that in account. And let's see. Nope. All right, so let me see how I can shuffle this. Now I didn't forget, I do have to add a dot for my exclamation point. I'm just gonna grab a gel pen. Just add a little bit of a dot down there. I think the blue curtains turned out really pretty. I know I'm covering up a portion of them, but it doesn't bother me. Let's put this on a card base, and then let's add a couple embellishments and finish this off. So we're gonna go ahead. So we're gonna hear this. And then, all right, what am I gonna pull in? I think I've got some silver glossy dots and some clear glitter enamel dots, and I think I'm just gonna use these. So let's see. We're gonna do like a silver. Oh yeah, I'm so glad you guys like the curtains. It makes me happy. I'm just kind of going back and forth a little bit. I also think that this does a really nice job sort of playing off of the sparkles with the pattern paper. So, yay us. I also think that my clear glitter enamel dots may have slightly gotten yellow over time, which is not the most pleasant of appearances, but that is a-okay. So let's do that. And what? Put this one back. Put another clear glitter one. All right. Put like a silver right there, a silver right there. And y'all, I think we're HOTTO to stamp. All right, clear glitter. Those ones almost can just get tossed. But I think we are all completed. I know it's a little bit of like an alternative layout, and I probably could have put her in the center underneath, but I like her offset. I think that it looks really nice. You could also add a couple more embellishments over here if you had wanted to, but I like her off to the side of the stage. I think it works really well. But thank you all so very much for being here tonight. I will make certain by the end of the week to get this into the fan club with a video, and then also do a quick little blog post with it as well. If you have any questions about this card, you can always feel free to reach out to me, direct message me, whatever works best. Otherwise, I have one more November Facebook Live. It will be at the end of the month it's the last Saturday, which I believe is November 30th. It'll be at 1 p.m. Central Time, which is 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Y'all, I have no idea what we're going to be doing. I'm going to probably still be in a turkey coma, so we're just going to have some fun. Maybe it's going to be a no coloring card. I always like to do the no coloring cards because then I can do other techniques that don't take as long. So thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I hope this card leaves you hot to stamp. Don't forget, you can use the promo code HOT to stamp on the website for 20% off the Dolled Up Paper Pack and the Rising Princess stamp set. Like I said, I will see you all later on this month. Don't forget, the release this month is a week early. We start sneak peek starting Sunday night. I can't believe we're already looking at the November release, and it's the second to last release of the year. Y'all, I've seen what some of the design team has come up with already. It is incredible. I think that there are a lot of fun sets coming up. I know there are a lot of favorites that you all are going to have. So expect some classics coming your way. And of course, you're going to have design team giving you inspiration that's going to knock it out of the park. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Gwen. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. I know Patsy was here and Teresa was here and the other Carrie was here and she left earlier. But thank you guys all so much for stopping by tonight. I look forward to seeing you very soon, and stay crafty. Goodbye.